Welcome to Shredder Fanfic. Like, subscribe, and hype video. Join members to gain early access to new videos. The main character, after dying in his previous life, wakes up inside of DC. Inside of DC, he creates the ninja world, or more well known as Naruto. What is the ninja world and DC gonna do?
Temri took a breath. Time to see what they do, she said. Outside, infiltration team waited near the door. Robin looked at Naruto. This time you don't charge straight in, he said plainly. You follow signals and stay quiet. Naruto nodded, more serious than usual. Got it, he said. Gaara stood beside them. My sand can move under the ground, he said. I can test for traps and watch for motion. Artemis checked her bowstring, then the arrows in her quiver. I'll watch lines of sight, she said. We can't rely on Miss Martian this time. She's on the other team. Robin nodded. So here's the plan, he said. Gaara takes point underground. Naruto, you move second, watching for visual tricks. Artemis and I stay a little back, using ranged support. We avoid open streets, use rooftops only when we're sure they're clear. Artemis tilted her head. You're taking it slow this time, she said. Last time we had telepathic backup, Robin answered. Now we don't. Red Tornado announced. Infiltration round begins. Time limit, 20 minutes. The door opened. They stepped inside. The simulated sky had not changed. The light was still neutral. The buildings, however, carried subtle new angles. Some overhangs were lower. Corners seemed tighter. Gaara let a thin stream of sand fall from his gourd. It flowed across the ground and divided, creeping into cracks and under door gaps. I'll keep a layer under the surface, he said quietly. It will respond if anything moves nearby. Naruto watched his sand with interest. That's really useful, he said. Artemis tapped Robin lightly on the arm and pointed to a narrow alley. There, she said. Less direct, more cover. Robin agreed. Move, he said. They advanced slowly. Gaara's sand sent faint signals back to him. No one near this section yet, he said. They reached the first corner. Robin crouched and peered around. A seemingly empty lane stretched ahead. In your world, where would you hide? Robin asked Naruto quietly. Naruto thought, then answered, in the highest point with cover or behind something that looks boring. He pointed. That roof there, or behind that cart. Artemis eyed the roof. Feels right, she said. She fired an arrow, but not to hit. The arrow struck the roof's edge and bounced off. A faint shimmer rippled along the tiles. Robin narrowed his eyes. Hard light decay, he said. No real volume. Gaara's sand rose slightly from a crack near the fake roof. Nothing alive there, he confirmed. They bypassed the false vantage point and slipped deeper into the simulation. On the defenders' side, Miss Martian frowned slightly. They are avoiding obvious routes, she sent through the comm line. They bypassed one of the fake cover points. Sasuke adjusted his position. They're learning, he said. Good. Kid Flash paused near the south channel and listened. No footfalls yet, he reported. Gaara's sand must be hiding their sound. Temri watched the inner lanes from above. They'll hit the mid-level soon, she said. Get ready. Inside the village, Gaara felt a slight tremor under his sand. Movement, he said. Faint, fast, circling. Kid Flash, Robin guessed. Likely, Gaara agreed. Artemis tapped her earpiece. We'll need a diversion, she said. Naruto. Naruto grinned quietly. I can handle that. Robin nodded. Shadow clones, he said. Naruto made the seal. 3 clones puffed into existence. Each of you head in a slightly different direction, Robin ordered. Make noise, but not full volume. Gaara will cover you with sand if anything dangerous happens. You got it, all 4 Narutos said at once. They sprinted into 3 separate alleys. From above, Temari saw them. Multiple Narutos, she reported into her comm. Likely clones. Kid Flash smirked. Time to test them, he said, then ran. He targeted the loudest one first, weaving through the tight spaces with ease. He reached a clone, tapped its shoulder, and it vanished in a puff of smoke. "Fake," he said. Gara's sand rippled. "He made contact with a clone," Gara said. "He's moving to the next." Artemis tracked the dust trails. "Their defender has speed, but he's chasing decoys," she said. "That gives us a window." Robin and the real Naruto moved with Gara and Artemis through an alternate path. They kept low, using buildings for cover. Sasuke, closer to the center, felt the slight chakra signatures shifting around him. "They're trying to draw Kid Flash away," he said. "They're aiming for the tower again." Miss Martian, hovering partially intangible inside a wall near the square, sensed something odd. "Two large presences approaching the inner ring," she said. "One feels like Naruto, one feels different. He's cloaked in sand." Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "That's Gara," he said. "I'll handle the square, you cover the flanks." Miss Martian nodded and phased into another building to watch. Gara extended his sand into the soil near the square. He detected several buried triggers. "Traps," he said. "Explosive tags and wire." Robin crouched beside him. "Can you disarm them without triggering?" "Yes," Gara replied. His sand moved with delicate restraint, parting the dirt around the tags and wires, lifting them gently and holding them in the air. On the monitor, Batman's eyes narrowed. "Fine control," he said. Kakashi nodded. "Very." Temari noticed the shift from a rooftop. "They're clearing the ground," she reported. "Gara's neutralizing my side's traps." Sasuke decided to move. He stepped into the square, keeping to the shadows near the tower. He knew Gara's style from past fights. The sand would be strongest near open spaces. Gara felt him enter his range. "Sasuke is here," he said. Naruto clenched his fists lightly. "Figures," he muttered. Robin looked between them. "We can't just rush him," he said. "We'll draw fire, and Artemis will get pinned by Temari if we go messy." Artemis tilted her head slightly. "I can handle Temari if I know where her wind's coming from," she said. "But I need an opening." Naruto smirked quietly. "I have an idea," he said. Robin let him talk. "If we pretend I'm alone and rush in loud," Naruto explained, "Sasuke will face me. He always does. Gara can cover me, and you and Artemis can slip behind. Miss Martian will be watching too, so she'll be busy." Robin thought for a second. "Risky," he said, "but their focus will center on you. It could work." Gara nodded. "I can block killing blows," he said. "We are not using killing blows anyway." "That helps," Artemis said dryly. Miss Martian caught faint hints of their intent. "They're planning a direct distraction," she told Sasuke mentally. Sasuke's reply in thought was brief. "Let them. I'll respond." Naruto cracked his knuckles and stepped out into the open. He raised his voice just enough. "Hey, Sasuke," he shouted. "Here we go." Sasuke appeared from the shadow of a building, expression flat. "You never change," he said. Naruto charged. His feet hit the ground hard, but his direction was controlled. Gaara's sand snaked invisibly around his legs, ready to catch him if something unexpected happened. From above, Temari flicked her fan. A gust swept across the square, kicking up dust. Artemis felt the air shift and moved, loosing an arrow through the distorted air. It curved off course slightly, but still landed near Temari's position, making her shift to cover. Temari clicked her tongue. "Annoying," she muttered. Sasuke and Naruto met in the middle. They traded fast blows, both holding back but solidly engaged. Sand surged to block any hit that strayed too far. While attention focused there, Robin and Artemis took the side path. Robin threw a disc, which bounced off a side wall and hit a concealed sensor. The sensor shorted out, momentarily blinding one of the turrets linked to the defense system. Miss Martian sensed their movement and tried to send a warning. "Robin and Artemis are flanking," she thought at Sasuke and Temari. At that moment, something flickered on Red Tornado's console. A small red light flashed faster than before. A soft alarm pinged. In the control room, Batman turned his head. What was that? Projector Relay 3 is drawing unexpected power, Red Tornado said. Adjusting. He sent a stabilizing signal. The training environment shimmered faintly. Inside the village, the ground under Naruto's and Sasuke's feet shook more than before. A wall near them cracked in a way that wasn't planned. Miss Martian's view of the upper level blurred briefly. Temeri's fan gust became stronger than intended, nearly ripping several shingles off the roof. Something just overshot, Temeri said, surprised. In the control room, another light went from green to yellow. Environmental projector is misfiring, Red Tornado said. One of the hard light walls has solidified beyond safety parameters. Batman's eyes hardened. Location. 12 meters north of the central square, Red Tornado replied. That was near where Robin and Artemis were moving. Inside, Robin felt the floor vibrate differently. The building he was passing began to warp. The simulated inner wall grew thicker and denser than it was meant to. The hard light field flickered, then solidified. Artemis' eyes widened. That wall just changed, she said. It looks wrong. Robin tried to bounce another disc, but it clanged against the wall and dropped, not phasing through. It's too solid, he said. The safety limiters aren't regulating this section. Miss Martian, can you see them? Aqualad's voice came through her comm. Miss Martian phased up and out of the building she was in. The glitching hard light surface shimmered oddly. Something's wrong, she said. The wall is harder than before. It doesn't feel normal. Red Tornado transmitted calmly, but faster now. System glitch confirmed. Projector Relay 3 is stuck at reinforced density. Batman spoke into the link. All participants, halt aggressive actions. Back away from the North Square wall. Sasuke blocked one more strike, then stepped back, recognizing the tone. Naruto pulled away, breathing hard. Temeri lowered her fan. Robin, Artemis, retreat to clear ground, Batman ordered. We're pinned, Robin answered. The passage behind us closed when the wall expanded. I don't see a safe route. In the control room, Kakashi straightened fully. His relaxed posture vanished. You have a malfunctioning hard structure with trainees inside, he said. What's the failure threshold? If the projector overloads, the wall could collapse at full density, Batman answered. It could crush anyone in contact with it. The auto-retraction isn't responding yet. Tsunade's jaw tightened. We're fixing that now, she said. Batman's fingers moved quickly over the controls, trying to force a manual restart. Red Tornado rerouted power, but the relay stayed partially locked. Inside the village, the air near that sector seemed thicker. Miss Martian, Aqualad said, voice calm but urgent. Can you phase them out? Miss Martian focused. I can try, she said. She flew toward the flickering area. She phased into the glitching wall, but the density fought her. It felt heavier than normal for hard light. Her body flickered halfway between tangible and intangible. She gritted her teeth. It's resisting, she said. I can reach them, but slowly. Robin grabbed Artemis' arm. Stay clear of the wall, he warned. Artemis nodded, stepping away cautiously. In the control room, Kakashi moved to the console. Send a visual of the stuck area, he said. Red Tornado expanded the error zone on the display. The wall section glowed a deeper red in the visualization, indicating dangerous density. Kakashi studied it, then spoke. The problem area is centered here, he said, pointing. The rest is still normal enough to weaken. You're trying to reset the whole thing at once. Isolate just the core. Batman looked at him for half a second, then began entering commands. I can segment the field, he said. You interpret structure like terrain. It's just another barrier, Kakashi replied calmly. Treat it that way. Batman separated the central malfunctioning node from the surrounding projectors in the control system. Red Tornado cut power to the outer supports. Intentionally unbalancing a compromised field, Tsunade asked. Controlled failure, Batman said. We drop the outer shell so Miss Martian can phase them out from the inside before the core collapses. Red Tornado nodded. Ready when you are, he said. Batman spoke into the comm. Robin, Miss Martian, get ready. When the outer layer thins, phase out without touching the center. Miss Martian's voice was tight but controlled. Understood. Inside, she focused again. The outer parts of the wall softened slightly. Her ability to pass through increased. Now, Batman said. Red Tornado executed the segmented shutdown. The outer hard light flicker lines dropped in intensity. The central core still glowed dangerously, but the layers between Miss Martian and her teammates thinned. She pushed through, grabbed Robin and Artemis each by one arm, and dragged them toward the edge where the field was weakest. They emerged through the wall and collapsed to the floor as the central section finally failed. The simulated wall imploded into hard shards of light that faded a moment later. The vibrations stopped. In the control room, Red Tornado's monitors returned to green. Density field normalized, he said. No injuries detected. Tsunade released a breath slowly. Good, she said. Kakashi's eye curved faintly. Nice work, he said. Batman nodded. We suspend this round, he announced into the system. Simulation reset. All trainees exit the training hall. The environment faded back into a simple open chamber. Walls receded. Platforms withdrew. Naruto looked around as the buildings vanished. What happened? He asked. Robin dusted his knees and stood. System glitch, he said. The wall overpowered its safety limit. Artemis flexed her shoulders, checking for any soreness. Could have gone worse, she said. Gaara's sand drew back into his gourd. He watched Miss Martian with a hint of respect. You forced your way through, he said. Miss Martian smiled weakly. I had help, she said. They adjusted the system from outside. Sasuke glanced upward toward the control room window. His expression was neutral again, but his shoulders eased slightly. Everyone gathered in the central area of the training hall. Batman and Aqualad re-entered from the main door. Tsunade and Kakashi joined them. We had a projector malfunction, Batman said. The environment became more dangerous than planned. You responded correctly by following orders when told to stop. Aqualad nodded. This is why we monitor everything from outside, he said. Sometimes systems fail. Your job in those moments is to listen and not make things worse. Naruto rubbed his neck, slightly embarrassed. I was about to rush the wall, he admitted. Good thing you didn't, Kid Flash said. Tsunade looked over the group. You did well under a situation that could have gone badly, she said. Remember this. Real missions can have that kind of problem too. Kakashi's voice was light but serious. Even the best plans break. Being able to stop and adapt is important, he said. Robin nodded. We got careless, he said. We assumed the environment would hold. Next time we keep backup plans for the field itself. Gaara looked at Batman. Will you fix the projector? He asked. Yes, Batman said. Before the next session. Red Tornado's voice came from the ceiling speakers. Repairs will take several hours, he said. We will shift training to other wings for the rest of the day. Tsunade turned to the young shinobi. Medical drills in Wing 2, she said. Report there after a short break. Aqualad spoke to the young justice team. You'll assist with structural analysis and support exercises. We'll go over the recording later. The teams began to disperse in smaller groups. Naruto walked beside Kid Flash. Hey, he said, next time let's finish a full round. Kid Flash laughed. You're really hooked on this, he said. Yeah, Naruto said happily. It's good training. Sasuke moved quietly with Robin, both in step. Your leader is very controlling of the environment, Sasuke said. He has to be, Robin replied. At our level, we don't survive long without someone like him watching. Sakura walked with Miss Martian, speaking in a low voice. You held up well, she said. That looked hard. Miss Martian smiled. It was, she said, but I'm used to heavy pressure fields. Still, I'm glad they reacted fast. Temari and Artemis left side by side. We'll get a clean round next time, Temari said. Artemis nodded. Yeah, I want to see what happens when the course doesn't break. Gaara stayed back a moment, looking once at the bear hall. Then he turned and headed toward the exit. In the control room, Batman watched them go. Kakashi stood next to him. That was a good lesson, Kakashi said, even if it was an accident. Batman nodded once. We'll use it, he said, Chapter 17, the weight of a real threat. The day after the glitch, the Academy moved through its routine. Snow still covered the valley. The reinforced building stood solid in the cold. Steam rose faintly from vents along the outer walls. Inside, morning drills had already begun. In the main training yard, Naruto sparred with Konohamaru, both moving fast in a flurry of basic taijutsu and low-level jutsu. Sakura supervised nearby with her arms crossed. She held a clipboard given to her by one of the league coordinators, pretending not to enjoy the authority. In another section, Gaara stood with Aqualad, reviewing structural plans for an expanded defense ring around the academy. Their discussion was quiet and precise. On the far side of the compound, Temari watched Artemis calibrate a new series of target drones. Everything felt steady. Then the alarm hit. It did not sound like the training signals they were used to. A deep, sharp tone rolled through every hall, followed by flashing red bands along the ceiling lights. Naruto froze mid-step. What's that? He asked, eyes wide. Konohamaru straightened quickly. That's not normal, he said. Sakura looked up at the alarm. This is serious, she said. Over the compound speakers, Red Tornado's voice sounded, calm but urgent. All personnel, this is a priority alert from Earth. Justice League members to immediate response positions. Shinobi representatives report to Central Briefing Hall. Naruto's heart jumped. Something big is happening, he said. Sakura tightened her grip on the clipboard. Let's go, she said. They ran. The Central Hall filled fast. Tsunade, the Reikage, Onoki, Mei, Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, Pain, Konan, Kakashi, and several other senior shinobi gathered near the front. Behind them stood Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and a handful of younger ninja. On the other side of the room, young Justice huddled near the wall. Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, Superboy, Miss Martian, and Artemis. Batman appeared on the main screen first, broadcasting from the watchtower. Behind him, the stars and Earth were visible through the wide window. The image was steady, his voice clipped and clear. We have a Class Omega threat on Earth, he said. Metropolis has been struck. The target is Doomsday. The name meant nothing to most shinobi, but the tone carried weight. Superman came into view behind Batman, already in full uniform, cape stilling after a recent movement. His face was set. This is one of the most dangerous beings our world has ever faced, he said. You must understand that up front. The Reikage frowned. How dangerous? He asked. Give us a scale. Batman didn't soften it. Doomsday killed Superman once, he said, under yellow sunlight at full strength. Naruto's eyes widened. Killed him, he repeated. Superboy's jaw clenched at the word. He looked at the floor briefly, then back at the screen. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. And he's loose again, she asked. Yes, Batman said. We have partial countermeasures now, but every time Doomsday comes back, he adapts. We cannot guarantee any previous method will work. Onoki floated a little higher. What do you need from us? He asked. Superman looked directly out from the screen. We're not asking you to fight Doomsday, he said. Your power levels are not sufficient for that threat, but there will be collateral damage. We need support teams for evacuation, shielding, and healing. You can help there. The Rakige's expression tightened with quiet annoyance, but he nodded. So we'll handle civilians, he said, not the main fight. Exactly, Batman said. We want you alive. Naruto opened his mouth, clearly ready to argue, but Kakashi rested a hand on his shoulder. Naruto looked up, saw the sharp look in his teacher's eye, and bit back what he was about to say. Kakashi spoke instead. You've studied this enemy, he said. You know where we won't matter, we will follow your lead. Superman nodded once, appreciative. Thank you, he said. We're sending coordinates now. Zeta and portal alignments are ready. Batman glanced toward something out of sight. League, move out, he said. The feed cut. Red Tornado's voice filled the hall. Selected shinobi teams prepare for immediate transit. Tsunade, Rakige, Onoki, Mei, Gaara, Pain, Kakashi, Team 7, Sand siblings, and 2 missed support squads. Young Justice will remain at the academy on standby unless called. Kid Flash's head snapped up. Wait, we're not going, he asked. Aqualad looked at him. If they need us, they will call, he said calmly. Our orders are to hold base. Robin nodded, accepting it, even if his eyes were tight. Naruto looked over, frustrated. We get to go help and they do, he said. They've seen Doomsday before, Sakura said quietly. If they're staying behind, it means this is worse than it sounds. Tsunade moved toward the portal chamber door. Everyone coming, move, she said sharply. No hesitation. They followed. The portal chamber glowed with bright energy. The permanent gate that connected the academy to the watchtower and Earth had already been tuned to a specific destination. The center showed a blurred image, flashes of light, broken structures, and smoke. Gaara felt the air pressure shift around the gate. The atmosphere beyond looked heavy. We go in as organized squads, Tsunade said. No one runs off alone. The Rakige cracked his neck. My division will handle heavy debris, he said. Onoki nodded. I'll assist with large structures, he said. Mei looked composed. I'll support with water and steam for fires, she said. Pain's eyes remained steady. I will contain as needed, he said. Naruto swallowed once. Let's go already, he said. Superman's voice came through the speakers one last time. We have Doomsday contained in the Central District for now. Move fast. They stepped through. The world on the other side hit them with force. Heat struck first. The air was hot with recent explosions and friction. Smoke rose from broken streets and shattered glass. Buildings stood with massive cracks, some leaning at strange angles. Fires burned in several locations, though emergency systems tried to fight them. They were in Metropolis. Distant sirens wailed. The sky was a dirty grey above the usual blue, stained by rising smoke. And Doomsday stood in the center of it all. He was tall enough to make even the Rakige feel small. His body was a mass of dense muscle and bone, grey skin stretched over hardened spikes. Every movement shook the ground. Each step left cracks in the pavement. His breathing was loud, a steady crash of air in and out. Superman hit him in the chest at full speed. The impact thundered across the street. Doomsday slid backward through a building, collapsing part of it instantly. Concrete rained down. Superman followed, slamming into him again, driving him further away from the densest population zones. On the far side, Wonder Woman bound a length of golden rope around one of Doomsday's arms, pulling with full strength, bracing her feet against the asphalt. The rope strained but held. Green Lantern formed a massive construct clamp that closed around Doomsday's legs. The force field burned bright green, digging into the ground as it tried to anchor him. Doomsday roared and broke the construct with a twist of his legs. The shinobi stared. Naruto's eyes were wide. That thing is worse than the Eight Tails, he said. Sakura nodded stiffly. More than that, she said quietly. Gara felt the shockwaves through the ground. The scale is beyond tailed beasts, he said. This is different. Move, Tsunade snapped. Civilians first, talk later. Her voice cut through the shock. They scattered into assigned roles. The Raikage blurred forward, his cloak rippling under the sudden acceleration. He reached a collapsed overpass where cars hung half off the edge. With a shout, he charged his muscles with lightning and grabbed the nearest vehicle, hauling it back with a grunt. Killer Bee appeared beside him, supporting the next one. "We got this, bro, don't let it go," he said, half rapping even now. Tsunade ran toward a cluster of injured civilians trapped under broken storefront glass. Her hands glowed green with chakra as she knelt and pressed them to a crushed leg. Bones realigned, skin stitched. "Hold on," she said calmly. "You'll live." Sakura joined another group nearby, lifting a piece of concrete easily with precise chakra strength, freeing a pinned child. "Go run that way," she told the family, pointing away from the battle. "Stay low." Gara raised walls of sand to block falling debris. His sand formed arcs above fleeing civilians, catching bricks, glass, and steel beams. May sprayed focused streams of water onto fires starting in some upper floors, cooling the structures so they would not collapse further. Kakashi organized a quick perimeter. "Naruto, Sasuke with me," he said. "We'll stay near the League's combat zone in case something gets through." Naruto nodded. "Eyes still on Doomsday." "Right." Sasuke's face was serious. "We won't be useful against that thing," he said honestly, "but we can handle anything smaller." Above them, Batman guided traffic from the Batplane, projecting calming announcements into emergency channels, directing people where to move. The main fight intensified. Doomsday swung a massive arm. The back of his fist caught Superman and sent him crashing through a high-rise window, glass scattering everywhere. The building shuddered. Wonder Woman launched herself upward, driving a fist into Doomsday's jaw. His head snapped to the side, but he barely moved his feet. Green Lantern formed a spiked battering ram and slammed it into Doomsday's knees. The creature faltered for a half-second and then stomped down, shattering the construct and cracking the ground deeper. Flash ran circles around Doomsday, creating a whirlwind of displaced air, trying to limit his movement. The creature still moved, though slower. "Doomsday is adapting again," Batman's voice came through the League's channel. "He's adjusting to energy constructs and speed tactics." Naruto watched, fists clenched. "They're going all out," he said. Kakashi nodded. "Yes," he said. "This is their full strength." Naruto swallowed. "We look like ants," he said. A chunk of debris broke loose above them. Gaara's sand shot up and caught it effortlessly. "Keep focus," he said. Suddenly, Doomsday's attention shifted. He jerked his head toward a cluster of fleeing civilians that the shinobi had not reached yet. With a heavy step, he moved in that direction, ignoring Superman's last punch. "That way," Kakashi shouted. Naruto moved before thinking. "Rasengan," he yelled, forming the swirling sphere of chakra in his hand. He sprinted forward, legs burning, closing the distance. Sasuke moved too, lightning gathering in his hand. "Chidori," he said sharply, blade of electricity forming. "Stop," Batman shouted over the League channel, recognizing their intent, but there was no time to intercept them. Naruto jumped and drove the Rasengan into Doomsday's midsection. The sphere screamed against the dense flesh, spinning with force enough to tear through rock. It dug into the grey skin and flared. Doomsday stumbled half a step. That was all. Naruto dropped back, landing hard. His eyes shot upward. The impact had done almost nothing. There was a shallow crater in Doomsday's skin, but it was closing fast. There was no blood, only a faint scorch. Sasuke arrived a second later, thrusting the Chidori into Doomsday's side. Electric energy exploded from the point of contact, filling the air with the smell of ozone. Sparks crawled along Doomsday's body. He roared, more annoyed than injured. The lightning crawled harmlessly across his skin after a brief moment, failing to penetrate. Sasuke's eyes widened. This barely entered, he said, shocked. Doomsday swung his arm toward them on reflex. Naruto grabbed Sasuke and threw him backward as hard as he could, using every bit of chakra in his legs. He barely got them both clear. The shockwave from the swing hit them like a wall, launching them together into the side of a building. They hit the wall and slid down, the structure cracking behind them. "Naruto!" Sakura shouted, sprinting toward them. He shook his head to clear it, dust falling from his hair. "I'm okay," he said hoarsely. "Sasuke." Sasuke pushed himself up slowly, teeth clenched. "I'm fine," he said, but his arm trembled slightly. Kakashi landed beside them. "You saw it," he said. "Your attacks barely scratched him." Naruto's hands balled into fists. "But it went all out on that Rasengan," he said unhappily. "You didn't," Kakashi corrected, voice firm. "You held back enough not to kill a normal foe. But even if you hadn't, it wouldn't have mattered." Sasuke looked back at Doomsday. "That thing's body is beyond any defense we know," he said. Up ahead, Doomsday had already dismissed them. His attention turned back to Superman, who crashed into him again with a full-force shoulder tackle that sent Doomsday into another building. Green Lantern layered 3 thick constructs around Doomsday's arms. Wonder Woman drove both fists into his chest repeatedly. Superman's next punch cracked the air itself. Windows shattered in a wide radius. "Now you see the difference," Kakashi said quietly to his students. Naruto gritted his teeth. "So we can't help at all?" he asked, voice low. "You can help by not dying pointlessly," Kakashi said, "and by doing what we were asked to do." Tsunade's voice came through their shared channel. "We have another wave of injuries near the south block," she said. "Kakashi, bring the brats if they're still alive." Naruto flinched at the word but moved. "I'm fine," he said. "Let's go." Sasuke followed, without argument. Gaara continued to raise sand barriers around escaping civilians. A piece of a collapsing building slid off one of his shields. He redirected the rest of the sand to form a ramp for people to run down. May doused another set of flames, starting on an office floor. The rakeage and killer bemoved vehicles and heavy debris, saving trapped drivers who stared at them with wide, disbelieving eyes. Pain extended his hand. "Shinra Tensei," he said. The repulsive force burst from him, pushing away a rubble collapse that would have taken out a group of emergency responders. He grunted slightly at the effort, but kept his footing. The shinobi were useful everywhere, except the main fight. In the sky, Martian Manhunter phased through Doomsday's arm, attempting to reach inside. The creature's adaptive biology reacted, hardening from within, forcing him out. He retreated quickly. "We can't pierce him that way," Jaeon said over the line. "His inner structure is closing against intangible access." Batman's voice stayed steady. "New plan. Lantern, upper atmosphere field. Superman, drive him up. Wonder Woman, anchor. Flash, clear the ground." "On it," Green Lantern said. A bright green cone formed high above Metropolis, almost invisible from the ground, but clear on League sensors. It stretched into the upper atmosphere, energy humming. Superman blasted Doomsday with full strength, uppercut after uppercut, relentless. Each blow shook his bones, but he continued, jaw clenched. Doomsday swung back, hitting Superman in the face. Blood flew from Superman's lip, but he didn't falter. He pushed anyway, dragging the monster upward in a series of brutal impacts. Wonder Woman wrapped her lasso around one of Doomsday's legs and pulled, adding leverage to the lift. Her muscles flexed under the strain. Flash blurred through the lower streets, grabbing anyone still nearby and carrying them blocks away in seconds. Green Lantern opened the upper cone. Superman and Wonder Woman pushed Doomsday into it. The field locked around the creature and began to rise, accelerating. Atmosphere thinned. The League's orbital assets activated. On the watchtower, a containment cell designed for dimensional breaches powered up. The cone connected directly with the cell. Batman watched the readings. Almost, he said. Doomsday struggled. The cone field cracked slightly but held. Superman broke off at the edge of space, chest heaving, letting momentum carry Doomsday the rest of the way. The monster slammed into the waiting cell on the watchtower's outer ring. Energy fields snapped into place, layering over each other. The door sealed. Inside, Doomsday hammered once against the transparent barrier. It shook but held. Systems rerouted, venting excess energy into space. Containment complete, Red Tornado reported. On the ground, the shockwaves slowly ceased. Superman descended again, landing with a heavy impact near the League plane. He wiped the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. Naruto watched him from a distance, expression stunned. That thing killed him once, Naruto said quietly, and he just fought it alone up there. Not alone, Sakura said, looking at the other League members. But mostly, yes. Gaara approached, sand moving slowly back into his gourd. The difference is vast, he said. Even our strongest cannot reach that level. The Raikage walked toward them, flexing his fingers. His gloves were cracked from lifting so much heavy material. I hate it, he said evenly, but it's clear. Tsunade came after finishing a last round of healing. Her face was serious, but her hands were steady. We did our part, she said. They handled the rest. Naruto clenched his fists again, then forced them to relax. I get it, he said. Sasuke looked up at the sky, where the cone had vanished. This is the scale they live with, he said. Every day. Kakashi nodded. Now you understand, he said. Our world is strong, theirs is something else. Batman's voice came through the shared channel one more time. Good work on evacuations and support, he said. Return to base when ready. We'll debrief later. Superman walked past them, giving a short nod of thanks to Tsunade and the others. His breathing had already steadied. The marks on his face were almost gone. Naruto watched him go, eyes narrowed with a mix of respect and frustration. He said nothing. Chapter 18, numbers on the screen. The watchtower was quieter than usual. The stars outside the wide conference room windows shone cold and steady. Earth turned below, clouds drifting over the blue and green surface. Inside, the room's lights were set lower than normal, focused on the central table and the large wall display. The shinobi sat on one side of the long table. Tsunade, the Raikage, Onoki, Mei, Gaara, and Kakashi took the front row seats. Behind them stood Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Temari, Kankuro, and a few other shinobi who had been directly involved. Pain and Conan were present as well, silent and still. On the other side sat the Justice League. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Martian Manhunter, and a few others sat or stood at their usual positions. Young Justice was absent. This debrief was for those who had been in the field. The display at the front of the room showed a frozen image. Doomsday, mid-roar, half caught in the cone of lantern energy, Superman driving into him from below, Wonder Woman pulling with the lasso. Batman stood near the controls. We'll start from the moment of engagement, he said, then work through the battle step by step. No one argued. He pressed a button. The footage began. The image zoomed out to show Metropolis in wide view. Doomsday fell from the sky like a meteor, hitting the ground with enough force to shatter several streets. The date and time stamp in the corner marked the start. Superman spoke quietly as they watched. We had a 90-second warning, he said. Long enough to evacuate a fraction of the area with speed and teleports, but not enough to fully clear the city. Flash appeared on the screen, already moving civilians. The League formed their first line around Doomsday. The shinobi saw themselves entering from a portal in the background. Batman slowed the footage. At this point, he registered at this energy level, he said, bringing up a vertical bar graph beside the video. A line rose to a mid-range red. Onoki squinted. What does that number mean? He asked. It's his destructive capacity at that instant, Batman replied. If we translate it into your terms, one strike at this level could completely level a mid-sized, hidden village. Tsunede's jaw tightened, almost imperceptibly. He continued. They watched as Superman's first blows drove Doomsday back. Green Lantern's constructs formed and broke. Wonder Woman's strikes flashed through the air. Doomsday adapted quickly. Batman paused again when Superman hit Doomsday squarely, knocking him through an office building. At this point, Superman was using a controlled portion of his strength, Batman said. Enough to keep the destruction focused, but not enough to cause additional collateral damage. The Raikage frowned. He was holding back, he said. Superman nodded. Yes, he said. If I hit at full power close to the ground, the shockwaves would level the city. I had to measure every punch. May watched the screen quietly. So your strength is always limited by your environment, she said. Correct, Superman replied. The footage moved to the moment Naruto and Sasuke engaged Doomsday. Batman slowed it down again. The Rasengan formed in Naruto's hand, swirling bright. The Chidori sparked in Sasuke's grip. Naruto shifted in his seat, uncomfortable. Sasuke's eyes stayed glued to the screen. Batman highlighted the impact point with a light circle. Rasengan, Kakashi said quietly, and Chidori. Both made contact, Batman said. He split the screen. On the right, numbers appeared, tracing energy output from the jutsu. On the left, they tracked the force that actually entered Doomsday's body. The Rasengan hit with enough concentrated power to tear through several layers of stone, Batman explained. The Chidori had focused piercing capability equivalent to a high-level armor-breaking attack. Naruto watched, face tense. Sakura folded her hands together under the table. She understood the value of the technique on their own world. Batman brought up Doomsday's internal reaction. The effect on him was this. The numbers on the screen barely moved. The graph for Doomsday's internal integrity showed only a small dip and a rapid recovery. Tsunade exhaled slowly through her nose. The net damage from both attacks combined, Batman continued, was less than 1% of Doomsday's total durability at that moment. And that 1% was neutralized within seconds as his adaptive systems compensated. Sasuke's fingers curled slightly on the table. Less than 1%, he said quietly. Yes, Batman said. At that point in the fight, your best strikes were negligible. That doesn't diminish their power in your context. It just shows the difference in scale. Naruto clenched his jaw. We hit him with some of our strongest moves, and it barely hurt him, he said. Kakashi placed a hand lightly on Naruto's shoulder. You saw it in the moment, he said. This just confirms it. Superman added, You were brave, but also lucky. If Doomsday had focused on you instead of me at that moment, you would not have survived that swing. Naruto looked at the screen where his smaller figure darted across the ruined street. Yeah, he said. I felt that. Batman resumed the footage. They watched as the shinobi continued evacuations, raised sand walls, cleared debris, and healed people. The League's battle kept raging in the background. Green Lantern's voice from the recording played through the speakers. Construct's breaking under stress. He's adapting to my output. On the screen, Doomsday's movements changed slightly, shifting weight, punching exactly where Lantern's constructs were weakest. Flash's voice followed. He's adjusting to my speed pattern. I can feel him tracking better. Martian Manhunter's attempt to phase inside played. The energy reading spike showed Doomsday's body reacting, hardening around the intrusion. He rejects internal attacks, Jayon said now, standing near the far wall. His biology learns. The shinobi watched in silence. Batman brought up a small status box at the corner of the footage. It showed League members, power usage over time. The bars for Superman, Wonder Woman, and Lantern rose higher and higher, By this time, Batman said, marking a point, Superman was at 70% of his maximum controlled output. Any higher and we risked damage to the planet's crust. Lantern had exceeded standard safe construct density. Wonder Woman was at near full exertion. Onoki glanced sideways at Superman, then returned to the data. You were close to your ceiling, he said. Yes, Superman answered, closer than we like. Gara studied the chart. If that had not been enough, he said, what would you have done? Pushed anyway, Superman said. There isn't another option when the world is at stake. Batman didn't refute it. They continued to watch until the cone formed and Doomsday was forced upward. The transfer to the Watchtower cell played out on the top screens. Batman, in the recording, checked the containment. Field integrity at 83% and stabilizing, his past self said. We have him. The footage ended. The screen faded to a calm, neutral color. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Tsunade leaned forward. How close did this actually come to failing? She asked. Numbers are one thing. I want your assessment. Batman didn't sugarcoat it. If Superman had been 10 seconds slower getting him into the cone, we would have had casualties in the thousands, he said. If Lantern's construct had broken during the ascent, Doomsday might have fallen back into the city. If the Watchtower containment cell had misfired, we would have lost our best prison, and the debris would have damaged part of the station. May frowned, and then? Then we would have needed to resort to measures that risk the planet itself, Batman said. The Rakige's expression hardened. Global-level sacrifice moves, he said. Yes, Batman answered. Superman spoke again, voice even. We're telling you this because you're allies now, he said. You need to understand that when we say a threat is beyond your level, we aren't trying to belittle you. We are describing the truth. Onoki floated slightly higher, thinking, We saw enough, he said. You didn't exaggerate. Gara's eyes were calm. Our assistance was useful for evacuation only, he said. And that mattered, Superman said. Naruto frowned. But we didn't change the fight at all, he said unhappily. If we weren't there, you still would have beaten him. Tsunade turned to look at him. And a lot more people would be dead, she said. We saved hundreds, maybe more, that counts. Batman added, Doomsday's priority was us. That left gaps in the evacuation net. You filled those. Naruto didn't answer right away. Then he said, It just feels weird. Back home, if I use that much chakra, something breaks for real. Kakashi nodded. Here you were background, he said. That's hard to accept, but you saw why. Sasuke spoke quietly. We're not the top anymore, he said. No, Superman agreed. There was no malice in his tone, just fact. May looked at Batman. So what do you want from us next time something like this happens? She asked. Be precise. Batman tapped a command. A new diagram appeared, circles marked Omega Threat Zone, Support Zone, and Secure Zone. In situations at Doomsday's level and above, Batman said, the inner zone is League only. No shinobi in melee range. Your place is here. He pointed to the support zone. Evacuation, shielding, healing, infrastructure management. You work with our secondary teams, not our primary strike groups. The Rakige folded his arms. And if one of us ignores that? Batman looked at him directly. Then you add to the casualties, he said. Superman's voice softened slightly. We're not saying this to restrict you, he said. We want you alive. You're important to your world. We can't ask you to fight something that you literally cannot damage. Naruto looked down at the table for a moment. His fingers drummed silently on the edge. Yeah, he said finally. I get it. Even my best stuff looked like a bug bite to that thing. Sakura's face was tight but calm. At least we could heal, she said. Our medical teams helped. Tsunade nodded. That's where we make a difference in these fights, she said. Not taking swings at monsters we can't hurt. Gara inclined his head. I will direct Sand forces to focus on protective structures and evacuation in future joint deployments, he said. Onoki added, Stone will handle terrain control and reinforcement when called. May said, Mist will assist with fire suppression, water supply, and mist cover where needed. The rakeage exhaled slowly. Cloud will move heavy debris and clear routes, he said. We'll leave the monsters to your people. Batman stored those confirmations mentally and digitally. Good, he said. We'll draft that into a formal crisis protocol. Payne spoke for the first time in a while. And Akatsuki, he asked. Batman met his gaze. Mobile response, he said. You go where gaps appear. Support zones only. Payne nodded once. Understood. The formal part of the meeting wound down. The room eased a little. People shifted in their seats or relaxed their shoulders. Flash stretched his arms. For what it's worth, he said, looking at Naruto's group, you guys did great on the ground. That family you pulled out of the collapsed shop wouldn't be breathing without you. Naruto glanced up. You saw that? He asked. I'm fast, Flash said lightly. I see a lot. Naruto gave a small, genuine smile. Okay, he said. That makes me feel better. Sasuke looked at Superman again. You didn't use everything, he said. Superman shook his head. I used as much as I safely could, he said. The rest stays in reserve. Sasuke absorbed that quietly. Tsunade rose from her seat. If that covers the battle analysis, we should return to the academy, she said. We have training routines to adjust. Batman nodded. There is one more thing, he said. Kakashi. Kakashi looked up with his usual lazy interest. Batman pulled up a secondary file and slid a small data card across the table. This is a curated set of recordings, he said. Omega-level threats, mass evacuations, previous doomsday incidents. Not for general viewing. Use them to help your people understand what they can and can't handle. Kakashi took the card and slipped it into his pouch. I'll use it well, he said. Naruto watched that exchange, curious but silent. He knew if Kakashi had it, he'd see it eventually when he was ready. Superman stood. We'll escort you to the portal, he said. The shinobi rose. Chairs scraped lightly against the floor. As they filed out, Gaara lingered a moment, looking once more at the frozen image of Doomsday's containment cell on the screen. You fight that often? He asked Batman. Not often, Batman said, but one time is enough. Gaara nodded and left to join the others. Naruto walked beside Superman down the corridor to the portal room. Hey, he said quietly. Superman looked down at him. Yes. When I'm stronger, Naruto said, I know I still won't be able to fight things like that, but I'll make sure my world can hold its own better. That way you won't have to worry about us as much. Superman gave a brief, approving nod. That's a good goal, he said. Naruto smiled. Yeah, he said, I think so too. They reached the portal chamber. The gate flickered quietly, already set to the academy's coordinates. Tsunade stepped through first. The others followed. Naruto took one last look at the watchtower, and then ran through the light. The room emptied. The League remained. Batman turned back toward the conference room. We start drafting the Interworld Crisis Protocol tonight, he said. Superman nodded. I'll help. They went back to work. Chapter 19, What the Sensei Shows. Night settled over the academy, in the land of iron. The wind outside pushed fine snow against the reinforced walls. The lamps in the main corridors were dimmed. Most trainees had already turned in after a long day of adjusted drills. The building hummed with quiet systems running in the background. On the second floor, away from the main dormitory wing, a small briefing room sat empty. It had a single long table, 6 chairs, and a wall screen linked to both academy systems and watchtower feeds. The lights were off. Kakashi stood in the doorway, one hand on the frame, looking inside. He reached into his vest and pulled out the small data card Batman had given him earlier. It looked nothing special, just a chip with a secure league marking. Kakashi turned it between his fingers once, then slid it into his pocket again. He took a breath. Behind him, footsteps approached. "Sensei," Naruto's voice called quietly. Kakashi turned his head. Naruto stood there with his usual orange clothes partially covered by a cloak, hair still messy, eyes wide with curiosity. Behind him, Sasuke and Sakura walked more calmly. Sasuke had his hands in his pockets, expression flat. Sakura held a notepad, out of habit if not necessity. "You're late," Kakashi said lightly. Naruto's face scrunched up. "We're on time," he said. Kakashi's visible eye curved in amusement. "Relax. I asked you three to come after the others went to sleep," he said. He stepped aside and gestured to the room. We're having a lesson." Sakura blinked. "Now?" she asked. "After all that?" "Yes," Kakashi answered. "This can't wait." They entered. Naruto plopped into the nearest chair. Sasuke sat farther down, leaning back slightly. Sakura took the middle seat, setting her notepad down. Kakashi closed the door and switched on only the screen and a single overhead light. The room stayed mostly dark, focused on the wall. Naruto looked around. "So what's this about?" he asked. Kakashi pulled out the data card and held it up. "Batman gave me this during the debrief," he said. "It contains crisis footage from their world, Omega-level threats, he called them. I watched some alone already. I decided some of it you should see too." Naruto's curiosity grew. "You mean more stuff like that Doomsday guy?" he asked. "Yes," Kakashi said. "Not just him, others, and you'll see why this matters for your training." Sasuke watched quietly. "So you're going to show us how outclassed we are again," he said evenly. Kakashi shook his head. "No, you already saw that today," he said. "I'm going to show you what real global crises look like for them, and how people behave in the middle of that. There's something to learn from it." He slid the card into the port beneath the screen. The device clicked softly. The display lit up, showing a folder list. Kakashi selected one labeled Crisis, Curated, SHINOBI View. Batman had organized it specifically for this. The first file read, Doomsday, Previous Incident, Metropolis. Kakashi looked at them. "We'll start with this," he said. Naruto frowned. "Didn't we just see him?" he asked. "This is from before you ever met him," Kakashi answered. "The time Superman died." That made the room go still. Naruto's eyes widened. Sakura's fingers tightened a little on the edge of the table. Sasuke's gaze sharpened. Kakashi pressed play. The recording opened on Metropolis again, but this time with a different timestamp. The city was less prepared. There was more confusion, more chaos. The angle seemed to be from multiple satellites and ground feeds stitched together. On screen, Doomsday rampaged through the city with even less restraint than last time. Buildings collapsed. Cars flew like toys. People ran in all directions. Superman appeared alone at first. He hit Doomsday hard. The impact blew out entire windows. They traded blow after blow, each one causing shockwaves that cracked asphalt and shattered glass. Naruto watched with his mouth slightly open. "He's fighting alone," he said quietly. Sakura nodded. "The others must not have arrived yet," she said. The feed switched to another angle. Superman bled. Doomsday kept coming. Kakashi watched their reactions as much as the footage. On screen, Superman finally drove Doomsday into the ground one last time. Both hit each other at the same moment. A final shockwave rolled outward. After that, both fell still. The camera zoomed in on Superman's body as people gathered. His cape fluttered slightly. Naruto swallowed. "So he really died," he said. "Yes," Kakashi said. "He did." Sasuke's eyes flickered. "And now he's alive again," he said. "These people have their own ways," Kakashi replied. "That's not the point of this recording." Sakura turned to him. "Then what is?" she asked. Kakashi tapped the screen pause. "Look there," he said, pointing. Toward the edge of the frame, other heroes had finally arrived too late. Batman stood in the background, partially obscured, his posture rigid. Wonder Woman knelt beside Superman's body, expression tight. Civilians were visible behind emergency lines. They lost their strongest fighter that day, Kakashi said. They'd probably seen him as untouchable. Sound familiar? Naruto shifted weakly. A little, he said, thinking of his own world's legends. Kakashi moved to the next file. Watch this one, he said. Different threat. The next video was labeled World Engine Event, Metropolis and Indian Ocean, Kryptonian Attack. The screen showed 2 points, Metropolis and a distant ocean. 2 devices, one in each place, hammered gravity into the planet's surface. The data overlay showed atmospheric distortion, rising seismic activity, and stress across the crust. A huge figure, Superman, fought a smaller but still powerful armored man in the air above Metropolis. Their blows broke sound barriers and shattered structures below. The footage zoomed in on the ocean device, where another hero, Superman again at an earlier moment, the feed cut back and forth, struggled against crushing gravity to stop the machine. Kakashi let it play. The skies shook, the planet itself seemed to bend. Your jutsu could not stop this, Kakashi said evenly. No matter how many shinobi we sent, this is technology anchored to physics you don't train for. Naruto stared at the screen, eyes moving fast. That machine is crushing things just by being on, he said. Yes, Kakashi replied. Sasuke's gaze drifted to the global stress indicators. If that had continued, he said, the planet would have broken. Kakashi nodded once. That's what Batman's note said. He switched to another file. Now this one, alien invasion attempt, he said. The footage showed swarms of parademons pouring from portals in the sky, blotting out part of the light over multiple cities. The League fought them in the air, on the ground, everywhere at once. Batman zoomed a section in the recording, showcasing the sheer number of hostiles. The approximate count ticked past 100,000. Sakura exhaled quietly through her nose. This many enemies at once, she said. Naruto's fists tightened. Even our entire world's shinobi combined couldn't hold a front like that, he said. Sasuke's face stayed calm, but his shoulders were a little tense. We'd be overrun, he said. Kakashi paused the video again. He turned away from the screen to face them. This is what Batman wanted us to understand, he said. Their crises are not just strong enemies. They're events that affect entire planets at once. If we rush into fights like that without knowing our place, we die and we don't help. Naruto let out a breath. So when Superman said we couldn't fight Doomsday, he wasn't just being overprotective, he said. We really couldn't do anything. Kakashi nodded. Correct. Sakura lowered her eyes for a moment, then looked back at the screen. But our healing, the evacuation, the barriers, they made a difference, she said, remembering the debrief. Yes, Kakashi said, and that's where I want your heads to be. Naruto frowned. What do you mean? Kakashi leaned against the table and folded his arms. Back home, you 3 are on track to be some of the strongest shinobi alive, he said. You've been used to the idea that with enough training, you can punch through almost anything. That mindset doesn't work here. Sasuke looked at him directly. You're saying we have to accept there are things we can never fight, he said. Yes, Kakashi answered simply. At least not in the way you're familiar with. When a threat reaches the level of breaking worlds, your role changes. You don't take the front. You protect what you can reach. Naruto leaned forward on his elbows. So what do we train for exactly, he asked, if not for fighting those big threats? Kakashi nodded toward the screen. You train to make sure that when something like this happens, there are fewer dead bodies for Tsune to heal later, he said. You train to build barriers that buy the League 10 extra seconds. You train to move people faster. You train to fix what's left after the smoke clears. Naruto's expression shifted. It wasn't disappointment exactly, more a grudging understanding. That doesn't sound as cool as punching a monster, he said. Sakura shot him a look. It sounds very important, she said sharply. It is, Kakashi said. It's the difference between a destroyed city and a wounded one. Superman can't do all of that while he's punching something that can kill him. Sasuke's voice was quieter. And what about power? He asked. Do we just stop trying to get stronger? Kakashi's eye softened a bit. No, he said. You keep training, but you adjust the goal. Instead of trying to match Superman's output, you focus on precision, refinement, control so good that you never waste a drop of chakra when it matters. He moved to the screen again. This part, he said, switching to another segment. The footage now showed smaller crises. A collapsing orbital station that Superman held while Lantern patched holes. A tidal wave diverted by Aquaman and Mera with help from Atlantis. A forest fire put out by coordinated League and civilian efforts. Kakashi pointed. These are places where Shinobi could help directly, he said. Evacuation through harsh terrain, fast rescue, targeted demolitions, medical relief in areas without access to hospitals. Sakura nodded. We could send squads, she said. We could rotate teams. Naruto's eyes brightened a little. So we can still help a lot, he said. Yes, Kakashi said. But you need to understand that you're not the first line of attack here. You're the second, third, and fourth line of support. He let that sink in. Sasuke stared at the fading image on the screen. Back home, being the first line was everything, he said. It still matters there, Kakashi replied. Our world needs its own defenders. That hasn't changed. This just means that in this partnership, we have to be smart about where we stand. Naruto looked at his hands. I don't like watching from the sidelines, he admitted. When Superman was fighting, I wanted to help. Kakashi nodded. I know, he said. But charging in and bouncing off Doomsday doesn't help. You saw that yourself. Naruto winced a bit. Yeah, he said. That felt bad. Sakura shifted in her seat. Sensei, she said, what exactly do you expect from us after seeing all this? Kakashi tilted his head. Specifically. Specifically, she repeated. He thought for a moment. From you, Sakura, he said. I expect you to keep pushing your medical ninjutsu. If Tsunade's methods spread through this academy with League Tech, you might become part of a system that saves more people than any direct fighter ever could. Her eyes tightened slightly, then softened. Okay, she said quietly. I can do that. He turned to Sasuke. From you, Sasuke, I expect you to refine your control and your perception, he said. You're sharing and Reed's movement at very high speed. That can be useful for coordination between our people and the League. You saw how Robin and Batman use data. You and they are not so different. Sasuke's gaze flicked downward, then returned. So I watch and direct, he said. Sometimes, Kakashi said, and other times you break things that the average shinobi can't. But you do it where it counts, not where it's pointless. Finally, he looked at Naruto. And from you, Kakashi said, I expect you to become strong enough that when a crisis hits our world, you're the one who stands at the front. Not to try and impress Superman, but because your own people need that. Naruto straightened. That I can do, he said firmly. Kakashi's eye curved, in quiet approval. He turned off the main footage, leaving only a dim standby screen. That's enough for tonight, he said. Go get some sleep. Tomorrow we go back to training, but I want these images in your heads. Naruto stood slowly. I won't forget, he said. Sakura picked up her notepad, though she hadn't written much. Neither will I, she said. Sasuke slid his hands into his pockets. I understand the gap, he said. I won't ignore it. Kakashi nodded once. Good, he said. They left the room in a small cluster, walking down the quiet hallway. Their steps echoed softly on the floor. Naruto walked in the middle. Hey, he said, glancing at the others. "Next time we go back to Earth for something like that, I'll make sure nobody dies if I can help it, even if it's not from fighting." Sakura smiled faintly. "Then you better listen to Tsunade more," she said. Sasuke gave a small sound that might have been agreement. Behind them, Kakashi stayed in the doorway for a few more seconds, looking at the dark screen. Then he closed the lights and shut the door. Chapter 20. Watching from Orbit. The day after Kakashi showed the crisis footage, the academy ran in a quieter rhythm. Drills were the same on paper, evacuation practice in the morning, barrier formation in the afternoon, mixed squads of shinobi and League techs walking through disaster response protocols. But the mood had changed. The younger ninja were more serious. Their jokes came softer. Even Naruto, though he still shouted and grinned, had a shadow of focus behind his eyes. Late in the afternoon, a message came. Red Tornado's voice sounded through the hallway speakers. "Tsunade, Kakashi, and designated observation team, please report to the portal chamber. Priority level, advisory." Kakashi, who had been correcting a Miss Chunin's hand seals, straightened. "We're up," he said. Naruto's ears perked. "Observation team," he repeated. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. Sakura looked from Kakashi to the ceiling. Tsunade stepped out from a side room, wiping ink from her fingers. She had been reviewing medical deployment charts. "This better not be another Omega-level emergency," she said. Kakashi shook his head. "No panic in Red's voice," he said. "Probably something else." They gathered in the corridor, outside the portal chamber. The group was small, Tsunade and Kakashi at the front. Behind them stood Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Gaara. That was all. No rakeage, no cage from other villages, no extra squads. Naruto looked down the line. "Just us?" he asked. Tsunade nodded. "Batman requested a limited group," she said. "He said observation only, no combat." Naruto's enthusiasm dipped a little. "Observation again," he muttered. Sakura elbowed him lightly. "If Batman wants us to see something, it's important," she said. Gaara said nothing, but his posture was attentive. The portal room door opened with its usual soft hiss. Inside, the gate was already active. Its surface shifted slowly with calm energy. A League symbol rotated faintly at the center. Red Tornado stood near the control console. His cape hung straight, his yellow eyes steady. "The Watchtower has requested a small delegation of shinobi observers," he said. "You will not participate directly in the mission. You will watch from the command deck." Kakashi nodded. "Understood," he said. Naruto exhaled, a little deflated but curious. "Fine," he said. "We'll watch." "Transit ready," Red Tornado said. "Step through when prepared." They moved forward as a unit. The portal's light wrapped around them and then dropped away. They emerged into the Watchtower's main transport pad. The room was clean metal and glass, filled with the quiet hum of advanced systems. Beyond the open doorway, the corridor led toward the central command deck. Batman waited just outside, cape still, expression unreadable. "Welcome," he said. Tsunade stepped forward. "You called for us," she said. "What's happening?" Batman motioned down the corridor. "You'll see," he said. "This way." They walked together. Naruto tried not to stare too openly at the view of Earth through the occasional window. Sasuke's glance lingered only briefly on the curve of the planet before returning to Batman's back. Sakura stayed close to Kakashi. Gaara studied the environment calmly. Clean lines, efficient structure, no wasted space. The command deck opened before them, large and bright. Multiple screens hung from the ceiling and lined the walls. Some showed global maps. Others displayed live feeds from various locations on Earth. The main central display displayed a focused region in bright detail. Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Martian Manhunter were already at their stations or near the central console. Cyborg stood at one side, fingers moving across a holographic control panel. He handled most of the system interfaces with ease. Superman looked up as they entered and gave a short nod. "Good, you made it," he said. Tsunade folded her arms. "You said this was observation only," she said. "No support roles." "Correct," Batman answered. "This is a contained mission. We brought you to see how the League operates during a serious but non-catastrophic event." He pointed to the main display. An image of a large coastal city came into view: tall towers, docks, rail lines, and industrial sectors. A name label at the bottom read, Rotterdam. Sakura frowned slightly. "Where is that?" she asked quietly. "Europe," Kakashi answered. "Important port city." Cyborg expanded several windows. One showed a large circular facility at the harbor's edge. White vapor rose from the structure. Another showed a feed of armored vehicles and emergency responders gathered at a perimeter line. "What are we looking at?" Gara asked. Cyborg zoomed further on the facility. "Experimental fusion plant," he said. "Part of an international energy initiative. It was attacked 30 minutes ago." A third window showed the cause. A figure in white and blue armor hovered over the facility, surrounded by swirling wind and shards of ice. His face was partially hidden behind a visor. Each flick of his hands kicked up cyclones and frost. "New villain," Flash said, "calling himself Blizzard King. Unoriginal, but he's strong enough." In another angle, heavy drones flew overhead with clumsy motion, firing beams at the plant's outer walls. Their design looked alien. "Stolen apocalyptian tech," Cyborg said. "Low grade, dangerous only because of where it is." Beams struck the reinforced walls, sending sparks and broken pieces outward. Alarms blared on the local feed. Workers evacuated under guard. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. "So you have an unstable energy plant, a meta with weather control, and alien drones shooting at everything," she summarized. "Yes," Batman said. "And if the plant's core goes critical, the blast will devastate the entire harbor and send fallout across several countries." Naruto swallowed. "So this is serious," he said. "Very," Batman replied, "but not on the doomsday level. We can contain it." He turned to Superman, Wonder Woman, Lantern, Flash, and Jay-On. "Teams are set," he said. Cyborg brought up a status overlay. "Primary engagement," Batman said, pointing. "Superman handles the drones and direct structural protection around the core. Wonder Woman takes down Blizzard King. Lantern handles containment fields and fallout control. Flash evacuates stragglers and disables any explosive devices. Jay-On coordinates with local authorities and scans for hidden threats." He glanced at Kakashi. "You and your group will watch everything from here," he said. "You'll see how multi-layer coordination works when every second matters, but the planet isn't breaking yet." Naruto stepped closer to the screen, eyes tracking the moving icons. "So it's like a big mission planning board," he said. "Yes," Batman said. "Scaled." He looked at Superman. "Move out," he said. Superman nodded and flew down the corridor, heading for the nearest Zeta tube. Lantern followed, ring already glowing. Flash vanished in a streak of yellow lightning. Wonder Woman spun her lasso once and headed for transport. Jay-On phased through the floor to reach his preferred route. On the main display, colored markers representing them left the watchtower and descended toward Earth. Kakashi folded his arms, eye focused. Naruto leaned on the console rail, trying not to get in the way. Sasuke stayed a step back, paying close attention. Sakura stood next to Tsunade. Gaara watched without moving. The view from the satellite feed sharpened as the heroes dropped into Rotterdam's industrial district. Superman arrived first, a blue and red streak slowing into a solid form above the plant. The drones turned toward him immediately, weapons charging. "He'll draw fire," Batman said. "That gives Lantern time to shape the field." Green Lantern appeared a heartbeat later, Ring already projecting a wide dome of green energy over the plant's main core structure. The field materialized in segments, fitting over the reactor like a shell. Naruto's eyes widened. He just put a whole barrier over that thing, he said. Gaara watched the shell form. It is similar to sand defense on a very large scale, he said. Sakura nodded. Instant range, she said. The drones fired a volley of beams. The shots bounced off Superman's chest and shoulders, pushing him back slightly, but doing no real harm. He gritted his teeth and pushed forward, swatting one drone out of the air with a clean, heavy punch. Another drone tried to flank him. He grabbed it, crushed the weapon barrel with a quick squeeze, and flung it into the ocean. He's not even using heat vision yet, Sasuke observed. No, Kakashi agreed. He's controlling the damage around the plant. Wonder Woman came in low over the facility, heading straight toward Blizzard King. The villain sent a barrage of ice spikes up at her. She raised her bracelets, deflecting them one after another. Shards broke around her shoulders and shield. She landed hard on one of the outer platforms, her boots leaving marks in the metal. Blizzard King blasted a wave of wind and ice at her. She braced and pushed forward through it, muscles tensed. Flash, in the meantime, ran through the lower levels and adjacent streets. The feed tracked him as a line of light weaving through the city. Little sensor, windows showed him knocking open doors, grabbing isolated workers and bystanders, and delivering them outside the danger zone in moments. Naruto's jaw dropped. He cleared 3 buildings already, he said. We can't move that fast. No, Kakashi said calmly. We use teams for the same job. They use one man. Martian Manhunter appeared on one of the smaller screens, standing near a group of local police and firefighters. He communicated telepathically and verbally, pointing to safe lanes and organizing their approach. He's acting like a command node, Gaara noted. Exactly, Batman said. He links everyone. On the main feed, Blizzard King summoned a swirling column of ice and hail, trying to bury one of the cooling towers. Wonder Woman leapt, slashed through part of the storm with her sword, and then hurled her shield like a spinning blade. It hit Blizzard King's shoulder, knocking him off balance. He recovered midair and snarled, gathering more power. His energy output is climbing, Cyborg reported. He's tying into the moisture from the harbor. If he pulls too much at once, he could flash freeze major sections of the plant. Lantern grunted as he strengthened the dome over the reactor. Trying to wrap the outer pipes, he said. Superman smashed another drone and then looked down at the main structure. His vision shifted. On the scanner overlay, heat readings appeared. Inner core temperature is rising, Superman said. We need those outer vents clear. We're working on it, Batman replied. Drones first, then vents. On the side of the main display, numbers ticked upward, a measure of the energy inside the plant. It hadn't reached critical range yet, but it was climbing steadily. Naruto watched those numbers as carefully as he watched the combat. So this is like when we have to stop a dam from breaking, he said. More or less, Kakashi said. Sasuke's gaze tracked Wonder Woman's movements. She did not waste a step. Her attacks were decisive. She didn't show off. She just closed distance and pressed advantage whenever she had it. Blizzard King tried to fly higher, but she caught him with the lasso around his torso and yanked him back onto the platform. He hit hard. She jerked the rope to pin his arms, then slammed her fist into the ground beside his head in warning. He snarled and fought, ice cracking around them. In the control room, Tsunade watched calmly. If he destabilizes that platform, they'll both be too close to the vent system, she said. Yes, Batman said. We're shifting Superman that way. Superman, having disabled the last of the drones, hovered above, receiving Batman's new instructions directly into his earpiece. He looked at Blizzard King and Wonder Woman's position, then at the structural map. He descended. A blast of frozen air surged outward from Blizzard King, threatening to coat the vent pipes completely. Wonder Woman dug in, bracing, but even she slid half a step. Superman dropped, landing near them, and brought both hands down on the platform edge. He shoved, physically tilting the structure so that the frost waves slid off to the side instead of directly over the vents. Metal groaned, the platform shifted. Lantern reinforced the reactor dome again, adding extra supports at the strained angles. Cyborg's readings corrected. Core temperature stabilizing, he said. It's still high, but it's not climbing as fast. Flash appeared next to a cluster of plant engineers holding a portable terminal. He placed it in front of them. Okay, he said quickly. Talk me through your shutdown procedure in 10 seconds or less. No pressure. The lead engineer, sweating heavily, rattled off the steps. Flash nodded and vanished, running into the main building with the engineers, instructions in mind. Naruto leaned forward so far he nearly hit the console. He's going to shut down the reactor manually, he said. Yes, Batman replied. He can move fast enough to hit every switch and valve in sequence. On the smaller feed, Flash's hands blurred as he toggled levers, hit buttons, and spun valves in a precise order. Warnings flashed. Then slowly, some of the red indicators turned orange, then yellow. Primary meltdown path cut, Cyborg reported. We're still running hot, but it's manageable. Blizzard King let out a sharp shout, drawing power again, trying to interrupt the process. Wonder Woman tightened the lasso and slammed him into the platform once more. Stay down, she said firmly. He struggled, but the rope glowed with steady light. His energy sputtered. Lantern enclosed him in a smaller, thick construct bubble, layering it around Wonder Woman's lasso. I'll hold him, Lantern said. You help with the vents. She nodded and leapt away, heading toward a clogged segment of the exterior piping. Superman rose, scanning again. We have ice buildup on the east side, he said. I'll clear it. Use heat vision low intensity, Batman said. No full beams near the core. Superman's eyes glowed red, then narrowed. Thin, controlled beams lanced out, melting ice slowly, not violently. Water flowed down the side, away from sensitive sections. Naruto watched, impressed. He really is holding back all the time, he said. Sasuke nodded. His control is on a different level, he said. Gaara observed Lantern's field. The way he shapes his energy constructs is similar to how I manipulate sand, he said, but he maintains multiple shapes at once. Yes, Batman said, that's part of his strength. The minutes ticked by. Inside the reactor, Flash completed the shutdown sequence. On the readings, core temperature began to drop slowly but steadily. Containment successful, Cyborg said. We're out of critical danger. The tension in the room eased. On the screen, Lantern thickened the prison bubble around Blizzard King and then floated him toward a waiting containment transport. Wonder Woman began inspecting structural damage along the top walkways. Superman crushed the last of the broken drones into safer pieces and stacked them for retrieval. Jaeon reported from ground level. Local authorities are securing the perimeter, he said. Casualties minimized. No fatalities confirmed. Tsunade exhaled, shoulders relaxing. Good, she said. Naruto let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. That was fast, he said, and really complicated. Kakashi nodded. And you didn't move once, he pointed out gently. Naruto scratched his cheek. Yeah, he said. Feels weird, but I get it. Sasuke stared at the renewed map. Their coordination is precise, he said. Batman turned to them. Questions, he asked. Tsunade raised a hand slightly. Who decided the roles? She asked. You or them? Both, Batman said. We have standard frameworks for certain types of crises. This one matched energy facility under attack, so assignments followed the usual pattern. I adjust during the mission if needed. Gaara looked at him. So you are the central planner, he said. Most of the time, Batman replied. Naruto frowned. If something like this happened in our world, we'd send teams to fight and teams to evacuate, he said. But we don't have this kind of live view. You have other advantages, Jaeon said from near the back. Chakra sensing, fast movement through terrain. You will build your own systems. Kakashi nodded in agreement. We can adapt some of this, he said. Not all, but some. Batman walked closer to the shinobi side of the table. This is the kind of mission we don't need you for yet, he said straightforwardly. We have an established response structure. If we bring you in, it will be where your unique skills add something we lack, not just to give you something to do. Naruto sighed. So sometimes we just watch, he said. Yes, Batman said. Sometimes. Sakura looked at the departing figures on the screen. Superman is already heading for another location, she said. Cyborg brought up a new small window showing Superman helping repair part of a damaged highway near the plant. He doesn't take breaks often, Cyborg said. Does he have to? Naruto asked. Yes, Batman said. He just doesn't like to. Tsunade shook her head slightly. Sounds familiar, she muttered, thinking of some shinobi she knew. The mission at Rotterdam wound down completely. The feeds shifted back to a calmer global view. Batman closed the main incident file and logged it. That's all we brought you for, he said. You saw a contained crisis handled with standard protocols. You can compare this with what Kakashi showed you before. Kakashi looked thoughtful. This was more like a top-tier S-rank mission back home, he said. Dangerous but not world-ending, and you still used nearly your full team. We did, Batman confirmed, because failure here would trigger bigger problems later. Naruto nodded slowly. So even when it's not a doomsday-level thing, you treat it seriously, he said. We don't have much room for mistakes, Batman said. Gaara studied the screens one more time. I understand why you keep us at a distance during these events, he said. We would slow you down until we adjust to your habits. Exactly, Batman said. Tsunade glanced at Kakashi. We'll restructure some of the Academy's drills based on this, she said. More emphasis on roles, not just power. Kakashi nodded. I was thinking the same thing, he said. Naruto looked at the earth below through the window. One day, he said quietly, I want our world to be strong enough that when something like this happens on our side, we don't have to call you every time. Superman, who had just returned to the command deck through a transport pad, overheard the tail end of that. He walked over, cape still settling behind him. You will be, he said. Naruto looked up at him and grinned. Count on it, he said happily. Superman smiled faintly. We do, he said. Batman turned back to the console. Tornado, prepare portal back to the Academy, he said. Linking now, Red Tornado replied. The gate in the corner of the deck began to glow once more. Tsunade rolled her shoulders. Let's go, she said. We have work to do. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Gaara, and Kakashi followed her toward the portal, each with the fresh images of the mission burned into their minds. They stepped through, leaving the watchtower's calm hum behind. Chapter 21, The God of Apocalypse. The next day, the watchtower did not feel tense at first. Systems ran in their normal cycles. The main ring rotated over Earth. The Academy in the Land of Iron reported stable progress. Communication lines between worlds were clear. In the watchtower's main observation deck, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Gaara stood near one of the long windows. They had arrived that morning as part of a scheduled liaison visit with Kakashi and Tsunade. Batman had called for another joint review. Earth turned beneath them, the curve of continents visible through the glass. Naruto pressed his palms to the window. I'll never get tired of seeing this, he said happily. Sakura crossed her arms lightly. Careful, she said. If you smudge the glass, someone will make you clean it. Sasuke stood a few steps back, hands in his pockets, gaze focused on the view without obvious expression. Gaara watched the planet with calm eyes. his posture straight. Kakashi leaned near the side console, arms folded, eye relaxed but alert. Tsunade stood beside him with her robe slightly open at the neck, looking over a datapad Batman had given her earlier. It contained medical system specifications. "Your hospital layouts are efficient," Tsunade said. "We can adapt some of this." Batman, standing at the main terminal, nodded slightly. "Good," he said. "We'll run joint simulations later." The air was quiet. Monitors hummed. The station vibrated faintly under normal operation. Then every light in the room flickered once. Cyborg's head snapped up from his side console. "Energy spike," he said. "Source, not local. It's hitting the outer sensors hard." Batman's hands moved instantly. He pulled up the watchtower's full sensor grid. Lines of data streamed across the screen, faster than usual. Sasuke stepped away from the window. Gaara turned toward the consoles. Naruto blinked and straightened. "What's going on?" Naruto asked. Cyborg's expression tightened. "We've got a boom tube forming," he said. "Big one." Naruto frowned. "Boom tube," he repeated. "A portal," Kakashi said. "Not ours." Tsunade's gaze sharpened. "Who?" she asked. Before anyone could answer, the station's internal alarm kicked in.